I log into my desktop system, and I'd like to open the Sitecore Analytics reporting. So for example, let's go to our marketing section. Let's look at conversions and profile tracking, which shows the goals that have been achieved on our page. What we will do is we'll add a new report onto this, and straight away we'll want to add a new graph, set some axes, and all we need to do from there is look at our report. So I go into design mode, and I see the web designer for my Sitecore Analytic reports. To add a graph to our page, all we need to do is click our charts object and place a chart on our page. The simplest way to edit this is to double click. Specify some type of graph. So this could be such thing as a clustered column graph. All we need to do now is specify the X and Y axis. So for example, if I want to show all the goals that I have, and I want to show its totals, all I have to do is specify in the format table.column the particular field that I'm wanting to render. So if I close this, notice that straight away the graph shows up with my results. All I need to do now is save this, exit, and run my report again, and I can see results in graphical format. So, just a couple of tips. Some graphs do not make sense for some sets of data, so always make sure you choose the right graph. Of course, there are plenty of different types of graphs to choose from. When setting axes values, you simply return the value with the table.field format. So for example, you've got the goals table that exists within the Sitecore Analytics database. They have a column called name and total on it. How about analytics and robot detection? Sitecore have a method included to auto-detect robots. Robots will usually not maintain session state, and if we experience a sessionless user with multiple requests, these will be classified as bot auto-detected. Such robots will be excluded from analytics reports unless they're manually reclassified. So, in order to enable auto detection, make sure you include the following web control on all your layouts for all the different devices that you would like robot detection to be enabled. Let's have a look at MaxMind. Sitecore uses the MaxMind GIP lookup, and here's how it works. Basically, Sitecore initiates a background thread which looks up the visitor domain name and geo information based on the IP address. So, it stores all looked up GIP and DNS information. Of course, the background thread obtains all unresolved IP numbers and performs lookups. In multi-server setups, make sure you assign only one server to perform the lookups. This can be configured in the sitecore.analytics.configuration file. However, we can also do this all through our Sitecore Analytics API. So for example, if we wanted to use our lookup managers to look up the reverse DNS of our local address and return everything that MaxMind will give us, we can do this through code. Analytics API. So let's have a bit of a summary. The Analytics API profiles information throughout the visit and is committed to the database when a user session ends. So, visitor behavior and tracking is stored on every single request. All storage requests are added to a queue, being handled by a background thread. Of course, if you remember, you can specify the size of this queue within your Sitecore.analytics file. The queue max size can be defined in the configuration file. Should the number of requests exceed the queue limit, new requests are ignored in order to preserve the performance of the server. If you'd like to look a bit more deep into this, look at the Sitecore.analytics.pipeline http://request.start.diagnostics class that exists in your Sitecore.analytics configuration file under the HTTP request begin attribute. You can also look at the end analytics request, which exists in the HTTP request end pipeline within the Sitecore.analytics.configuration file. So, what can actually be achieved with the API? I will add a caveat that the following points that I'm going to show you in no way reflect current or in-development Sitecore functionality. So, for example, we could do things like heat map logging. So, where are the users clicking on our page? You can imagine the kind of analytics information that you can gather out of this, such as what controls are being used on the page and which ones aren't. And what is the user experience when filling in forms? So, are people using their mouse to fill in forms, or are they using the keyboard to fill in their forms? We can get the following result, showing that if we visit our website, we can see that the following people are clicking in the following positions. But let's see this happening live. What I want to do is log out and go back to my live site. If I go to my products page, I want to know as a system administrator what controls are being used on the page and which ones aren't. So I can start, for example, clicking on this particular component, the side menu. And let's just go back for a second. Let's click on lenses. Let's go back again. Let's click on accessories, and let's just go back again. Let's also consider that we think the top bar at the top is an image. So when we click on it, we expect to be taken somewhere. Of course, this is no image, but this is useful information for your content authors to know that maybe we should put an image here. So all we need to do now is log into the back end, log into our desktop, open our content editor, navigate to our products item, and in our Analyze tab, we've got this click map control. So all we need to do is launch it, and we can see where the users have clicked on our page. What information can we gather out of this? Well, it's simple to see that most people use the side menu control to drill through the navigation of our website instead of using the control that is in the center of our page. Of course, we can use this information as web marketers to be able to determine maybe I should think about changing up the content that I have in the middle section of my page because no one's using it anyway. Let's see what else can be achieved. So for example, you might want to experience exactly what the user is doing on a page level or a global level. So with this kind of things, we can track all client-side events such as clicks, mouse moves, form events. We could play back to web marketing teams in real time exactly what our users are doing on our website from page to page. For example, you might use this power to subscribe to a business session and see exactly in real time and in graphical format exactly what they are doing. So, let me show you a video demonstration of the power of this. Right now, I have a website, and what I'm doing is I'm wanting to track the user Tim. Currently, I'm not tracking anyone because I'm not logged in yet. However, when I go back to my homepage, I want to log in as Tim. As soon as this happens, it triggers an event in the Sitecore analytics system that says, start tracking everything this user does. So, I simply log in, and Sitecore is now gathering all the different mouse events, the clicks, etc. that my user is doing on the page. When the session ends, it sends through an email report of exactly every single event that happened during that particular session. So, I can gather information like what target, what piece of HTML am I actually mousing over, what event am I using, so mouse move, click, or tab. Onto a couple of FAQs. Here are some popular questions that we get all the time, and the responses to them. Does the Sitecore Online Marketing Suite replace marketing automation tools like Eloqua or Marketo? The answer is simple. For organizations not currently using marketing automation management tools, Sitecore offers the same functionality that already exists in these other products, but with a deeper view into customer behavior and analytics. For those who have a need to keep existing solutions, of course, Sitecore Online Marketing Suite can run in parallel with online marketing or email campaign solutions. Does the OMS collect data when in all different page modes, such as preview or page editor? The simple answer is no. If you are wondering why you are using the page editor and your analytics scores aren't showing up, it's because the analytics doesn't work while in the page editor. It simply works in live mode. Does OMS replace the need for products like Google Analytics, Web Trends, and Omniture?